Hey guys, it's me again. So, commenter has asked about my days as an 8chan mod and how the IDF had quite a few, war crimes that were done and documented on 8chan. I'm also eating this, so mini food review. These are kind of mid. I've had worse black licorice. They have an acquired taste, black licorice, so if you have a sensitive sense of taste, I wouldn't recommend these. These are okay though. If you like black licorice, go with these. These are a pretty solid choice. Anyway, when it comes to the IDF, and the war crimes thereof, it was framed on 8chan. A lot of it was in like rec threads and things like that. The vast majority of it was framed in anti-Semitism, obviously, and it would be like, you know, here's proof as to why the Jewish people are inherently evil, blah blah blah. But again, it's mostly used for propaganda, and I'm not sure to what extent Israel understands that crimes committed by the IDF are being used for white supremacist propaganda. Knowing most militaries, they probably don't know, and if they do know, they don't care. But when it comes to white supremacists and their talking points, they get a lot of their talking points, you know, from Israel. And I would go so far as to say there's a bit of overlap insofar as both parties tend to justify their violence through a lot of rhetoric about blood and soil and ancestry and a literal mandate to heaven, a literal thing that, if we do this, our specific God is going to reward us or whatever, or that we're doing God a favor or doing his work or whatever, or, it's justifiable because it says in my specific version of a holy book that I'm right and you're wrong. Another major thing too, and I think this is just like typical military bravado, is a lot of the videos of the IDF that were on 8chan were videos of IDF soldiers talking about the war crimes they've committed and being proud of it. But I think that's no different than U.S. Marines, and there were several videos of U.S. Marines doing horrible war crimes as well. You have no idea how many videos I've seen of, like, Iraqi civilians getting murdered by U.S. Marines, U.S. soldiers, U.S. Air Force, Navy, etc. And that's just like civilians, when they get a hold of an animal, they'll abuse it, or they will, God, this video is going to get censored by YouTube. They get a hold of an animal or civilian vehicle, they'll destroy it. They get a hold of children, they'll scare them or, hit them or toss them around or whatever. So there's quite a bit of this kind of weird thing in most militaries, the U.S. and Israeli military especially, where they are a bunch of men with guns that are basically untouchable because they're surrounded by civilians that don't speak their language, can't do anything, have any legal recourse against them. So because of that, they have carte blanche to do whatever they want, and thus, because you give them the liberty to do whatever they want, they'll go out and do it. So it's not uncommon to see, Israeli soldier, a video of Israeli soldiers just wailing on some poor child or whatever. And again, that was always posted on 8chan as like in the framing of, these people are evil, blah, 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 bunch of slurs, and this is why. And the same thing would happen too with black people. I hate to say that, but on 8chan, and to an extent, a lot of the Discord servers I was in and other chats with Adam Waffen, a lot of that had to do with a lot of that had to do with, unfortunately, videos of black people committing crimes or whatever, and then it would be reframed and used as propaganda purposes, as, see, this is how they act, this is why we consider them to not be human and to be animals, because, here are several thousands of videos to, convince you of my point of view. And I think it's also kind of, in a way, traumatizing to the viewer to see stuff like that. And because it tends to radicalize people, and they use trauma as a way into your head to radicalize you against it. Now, me personally, where I stand today is I hate racism. I personally don't like violence, but unfortunately, maybe sometimes it is needed. But when it comes to the IDF and Israel, I do not support them. I don't support them. If I was Jewish, I wouldn't support them on the basis that they have no temple, they have no Messiah, and thus, they probably should stay in exile. Contrary-wise, it wasn't Jewish people who created Israel. It was a bunch of Anglo-Saxons who cut up their borders. Because prior to Israel, what was there? Palestine, which was a protectorate of the United Kingdom and, the British Empire after the fall of the Ottomans. And moreover, I don't believe any one religion should have the right to claim land. I don't believe religion and politics should be mixed together. I don't believe in theocracy. So I'm critical of Israel for the same reasons I'm critical of Saudi Arabia. I don't believe that a government should be ran by and for a specific religion. If the Lord's Resistance Army somehow took over all of Africa and created a Christian theocracy, I would, condemn and disavow and not support them at all. Sorry. And the same thing goes too with state atheism. If the Soviet Union came back tomorrow and decided to ban the Orthodox Russian Church out of existence, I would absolutely condemn them. I think that the government has no right to say what religion is and isn't good, and should remain separate from religion. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Now, insofar as any specific, things I can say concerning the IDF and what they could do better, in my opinion, is instead of sending the IDF to murder people, I think Israel should be the bigger party, or the bigger man, or whatever, and say, okay, we've been attacked, these people have our people hostage, let's negotiate. Because if you don't negotiate during a hostage situation, hostages tend to die. Sorry. And so, that's my take on the current situation in Gaza, and my, my history concerning 8chan, and how 8chan kind of, in a way, didn't really popularize or support the IDF, but more or less use the IDF as propaganda purposes for white supremacy. So I think in the coming years, the absolute violence and hatred that the IDF has shown against the Palestinian people will ultimately come back to haunt them in the form of white supremacist and anti-Semitic attacks. I hate to say that, but it's true. I mean, they can say I'm an anti-Semite all they want about, me not supporting Israel, but I would say I am not anti-Semitic. I don't hate Jewish people. I hate theocracy. I hate governments, but me hating, taxes doesn't mean that I hate every last person, who has ever paid taxes ever, I and the thing is too, is, I would be one of them. I've paid taxes before. So I don't really hate anyone. I don't believe in the power of hate. I believe in the power of love. But because of that, because the IDF doesn't believe in the power of love, all they got is hate. And that's why I think in the end they will fail. Sorry. Anyway, that's about all. Peace out.